Hello everyone, Fred here. In this installment of TPP Dynamite, I'm going to be reviewing Lisa Jackson's mystery thriller suspense novel, Liar, Liar. First things first though, if you haven't already, let me encourage you to subscribe to my channel. I post film, book, and TV series reviews. I do opinion pieces on entertainment, news, and affairs. I'm also an author of adult and young adult mystery novels. To date, I've released 3 books, The Women in White, The Lethal List, and most recently, Textbook Murder. They're all on sale now, and there are purchase links in my video description below. With that in mind, and without further ado, welcome to my spoiler-filled review of Lisa Jackson's mystery thriller suspense novel, Liar, Liar. So this book's premise is that 20 years ago, an ex-beauty queen named Dee Dee Storm worked the Vegas Strip as a celebrity impersonator. Then one night she disappeared. Her neglected 15-year-old daughter, Remy, was en route to meet up with her crush, Noah Scott, when she secretly witnessed Dee Dee hand over one of her newborn twins to a strange man. Dee Dee vanished soon after alongside Remy's other half-sibling. At the time, Remy pleaded with the authorities to find Dee Dee and the missing babies, with no success. Fast forward to the present day, an unknown author has just released a popular tell-all book revolving around Dee Dee's life and elements of her disappearance. Remy is curious to learn more, but as she's on her way to meet with the book's publisher, she witnesses a woman who looks just like Dee Dee leap to her death from the ledge of a hotel balcony. To the police, it looks like suicide or a publicity stunt gone wrong on the part of Dee Dee, who has not been seen in 2 decades. Remy, however, deduces very quickly that the dead woman, despite being dressed in Dee Dee's clothes and wig, is not her mother. Remy becomes even more determined then to discover what actually happened to Dee Dee all those years ago, the identity of the mysterious book's author, and who impersonated her mother before the fatal fall from the hotel balcony. Along the way, Noah Scott resurfaces, now running his own private investigations firm and interested in learning what happened to Dee Dee for his own reasons. But as Remy and Noah close in on the truth, it becomes evident that powerful people are behind both Dee Dee's disappearance and the present-day death, people who have killed before to prevent their own exposure and who have no qualms about doing it again. Okay, first, the good. Lisa Jackson does a terrific job of using thoughtful diction to describe even the most mundane of life behaviors, scenes, and items. The same applies to the characterization for most characters in this book. Liar Liar contains very many named characters, several of whom get a point of view at some point in the novel, but Lisa Jackson, for the most part, rises to the challenge of making each of these characters memorable by uniquely characterizing each one with strongly worded descriptions of them, their circumstances, and their various life situations. Lisa Jackson also does a great job of crafting a unique and interesting dialogue style for each individual character, one subtly befitting the character's personality. There are a few clunky bits of wording throughout the novel, and 2 main examples come to mind. The first is an instance that I suspect was included as a sly bit of woke social commentary, in which one female detective character makes the very on-the-nose statement to her male partner that it's not easy being a woman. The second is a part near the end of the book in which one of the main antagonists essentially spends an entire chapter delivering exposition by monologue before he sets about trying to murder the book's 2 protagonists. But aside from that, and for the most part, the dialogue flows almost as smoothly as a nice glass of Australian Shiraz. Liar Liar is a very well-plotted novel whose overall storyline allows for a virtual myriad of mind-blowing twists and turns that I honestly don't think that even the cleverest of readers will predict before they are revealed. Now, the bad. Put simply, this book was not as good as it should have been. I was drawn to it because of its premise and its blurb alone, and by all rights it had the raw materials to be a truly outstanding piece of crime fiction. Nevertheless, it makes a series of very critical mistakes that drag it down and cause it not to live up to its potential. The pacing is way off, which ruins the book in two main ways. The first is that the central mystery takes way too long to get started, and the second is that the latter fourth of the book is way too rushed. This book begins as a very slow-moving, character-driven affair and stays that way throughout about the first two-thirds. But at around the last third, it morphs into a plot-driven dash to tie off story threads as fast as possible. After a brief prologue set in the present day, almost a third of the book is spent detailing events that occurred 20 years ago and that set up the book's central mystery. Approximately the next third of the book is spent establishing Remy's new normal in the present day, describing life events that led her to where she is now, and running down empty leads regarding the book's central mystery. Noah Scott, the book's secondary main protagonist, only gets a present-day introduction around the start of the book's last third, and only then does the plot truly begin to accelerate. Granted, once that acceleration begins, it only gets faster and more interesting and hardly decelerates before the very end, but still, the payoff does not justify the build-up. Meanwhile, once the acceleration begins in the book's last third, plot threads get wrapped up far too fast, resulting in an ending that just doesn't land properly. As the book nears its conclusion, multiple major story beats that have been teased or explained as points of interest all throughout the nearly 400-page book get dropped or nixed or explained away in 2 or 3 slapdash sentences, if that. And most of those that aren't get tied off in very cliched or underwhelming ways. Again, 2 main examples come to mind. The first is that of the book's overarching antagonist, who is discovered, explained, defeated, and killed almost as an afterthought within the novel's last few chapters. The second is that of the romance between Remy and Noah. Once Noah enters the present tense storyline, a mild attraction is teased between him and Remy throughout the rest of the book, though Remy spends a good deal of time resisting it. Then, in the last 4 or so chapters, that romance, without any believable justification, goes practically from 0 to 60. The ultimate result is a tidy and very happy hallmark ending between Remy and Noah that doesn't feel earned and hardly even seems logical. There are way too many point of view shifts. This book features a great many named characters. Lisa Jackson largely rises to the occasion in fleshing out most of them well, giving them strong motivations and personalities. This does not, however, offset the jarringly excessive number of perspective switches. Dozens upon dozens of times, the book's POV shifts without warning from one character to the next to the next. Then, within those shifts, there are often further shifts between present tense and past tense memories recalled by the characters whose POVs are being featured. Given all the switching between named characters, it can and does sometimes get very hard to keep track of who's experiencing what and when. The novel's main antagonists are criminally underdeveloped, no pun intended. Several chapters are told from the perspectives of the novel's 2 main antagonists, but neither antagonist is given any sort of satisfying motivation for doing what he does. One antagonist is given the very basic motivations of greed and a pathological love for committing murder. The second antagonist's reasons are more complex, but that itself becomes a problem. Those motives are way too convoluted and unbelievable, and on top of that, the reader only learns them by exposition from that antagonist in an unfulfilling and stereotypically rambling bad guy speech near the end of the book. Reading this novel requires an extreme ability to suspend disbelief. Readers are expected to accept quite a few implausible coincidences and twists. The book's present-day mystery almost literally tumbles into Remy's lap when she walks by a random hotel just in time for a woman who looks like her mother to fall to her death. Remy and Noah managed to outdo 20 plus years of police investigation in 2 states by conducting less than a week of due diligence in a citizen's investigation from Remy's apartment. Almost every major character in this story is secretly related by blood or circumstances to another major character. There's also quite a bit of Deus Ex Machina here, as Remy and Noah solve multiple overwhelming problems overnight by invoking the help of a computer hacker ally with the stereotypically unlimited ability to bypass any necessary digital system to retrieve useful information. So, brass tacks, this book is well written and reasonably enjoyable, but comes nowhere close to delivering on its vast potential. It's a decent lazy Saturday read. I give Lisa Jackson's Liar Liar 3 cronuts out of 5. At any rate, that's just my opinion. Let me know yours. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? Are your feelings more complex? Sound off in the comments below. Meanwhile, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, click subscribe, ring that bell, and hey, follow me on social media as well. So long.